Hello everybody, back here again for another vlog a day, and today is Friday the 31st, and today was a lovely, beautiful day to be alive. Got up this morning fairly early, not too bad. Got around though, got a couple things done. The dog got here super late last night, so he needed up and out, so I got him out, chilled out a little bit, got a couple things done. Wife got off to work without really any issue. We were kind of just doing our morning thing, nothing too impressive. Eddie is pretty laid back, chill dog most of the time. He gets in some heavy playing when he has other heavy player dogs here, but when he's by himself, he looks sad, and it makes me wonder a lot of times when I see these dogs don't have a bunch of dogs around, their personality changes so much, and I wonder what they're like at home because they're all like single dogs at home, like there's no other dog mates and stuff. It makes me wonder, like, are they sad there too, or is it because here they know 98% of the time there's other dogs to play with, so when there's not other dogs to play with, they get like, oh, this sucks. It's like if you basically hang out at your house, your kids are perfectly fine, but then every time they leave the house and go on this, I don't know, say magic bus, they magically end up at Disneyland, and then they get Disneyland day and there's none of the rides are open. They're still like, well shit, we're at Disneyland, but yet there's nobody else to play with here, so it makes no sense. So yeah, kind of what it is. But we got a few things accomplished. Decided to go ahead and get some mowing done, so I went ahead and actually before that I decided I was gonna get my hair cut. So I decided to take the motorcycle over up to Smyrna, see my barber, got my hair cut, got that taken care of, got back to the house, and it's like, oh, I'll get some mowing done, whatever. So started mowing up all the yards, the battery, even the new battery that I have, it's a knockoff brand, wasn't enough to do all the yards at once. So I'm mowing two houses, and one's got an extra vacant lot that I bought. They position the house on like 3 lots, because here in the shores it takes 2 lots to build a house to meet code. But they have a third, so it's 50% larger, but the house isn't 50% bigger than the other house, so the yard gets immensely bigger when you add an extra 50% of land to it, because the house doesn't increase by 50%. The house, footprint is whatever it is, so it's a lot more land to mow. But between both yards, battery didn't make it, so I had to swap into a new battery. But I was almost done with front and back at the old house, and the entire front here. Didn't touch the back, because the back was the last time I mowed here, is kind of rotated through, so I wasn't planning on mowing that anyway. But I grabbed a new battery, went ahead and finished mowing it out. But then I've got the new little battery that I'm like, I guess I might as well weed eat too. So I end up weed eating a bunch of stuff, which I really, really despise doing, but it has to be done sometimes. So got it done, as much as I despise it. So from there, went and get my run in, because I'm already all hot and sweaty and gross. So got my run done. In that process of doing all this, somebody posted up some tickets to a live radio show, recording, podcast, whatever you want to call it, for a group that we listen to all the time called Tom and Dan. And we listen to the show, we got on their Facebook page and stuff, and have a handful of friends. A bunch of people reached out to me, that's where I was going, and I'm like, no, probably not, because it's that weird time frame, like when their show goes off. Their show's from 7 to 9 on the radio, which is always re-recorded. It's only the second time in history they've ever done it live in 10 years. And we like, well, the doors open at 5, but the way they had it listed, like the show starts at 5. Like they had live comedians and stuff beforehand, kind of getting things ready, and then the actual podcasting started at 7 to 9. And I was like, okay, well, that whole thing with getting there before 7 or at 5 o'clock, whatever, Karen had to take off at like 3. By the time she got home, got everything ready, and then got over there. It's like an hour drive to where they're having it at, and I'm like, God, that sucks. So, but I had somebody reach out. It's like, hey, I have an extra ticket, at least 1, maybe 2. And I'm like, well, what the hell? And I had to think about it. I'm like, all I have here is Eddie here tonight, so no problem with that. And Eddie's perfect. I was just hanging out with my wife, and I was like, you know what, I do want to go to this, whether my wife can make it or not. I still want to go to this, and I shouldn't have to not do things only because she can't, or doesn't want to get off work early, which I understand completely. So I reached out and said, hey, I'll take the 1 ticket for sure, and I like the person who's getting the ticket, and their assigned seats were set next to them, which makes a difference also in where I'm going for that thing. I'm like, hey, I'll take the 1 ticket 100%, but when do we know if we're gonna have a second seat? Because I can let Karen know, and then maybe she can make it there also. And she's like, I should know by about 3 o'clock. So got 1 seat secured. Told my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm going to the show tonight. Hopefully you're going with me, but this is what time I want to leave by. If we're going, I want to leave by 5 o'clock, except as their comic start at 6. So she's like, I think I can make that happen. I'm like, cool. and she had to, more things she was getting done. So I was already out of the shower. I'm all ready to go. Chilling out a little bit. Then I hear that we have 2 tickets available, so my wife is going with me. So super excited about that. Play with Eddie and stuff, get him everything going as we're kind of planning for that evening. And then we basically head out. My wife gets home from work. I had already eaten. Mom had cooked up some pork chops that she pulled out of the freezer the other day that didn't get cooked because it's one of those things where right now, especially my father-in-law in the hospital or in the rehab with his hip, my wife's going there every other day, so it rotates our eating schedules and stuff, and she works late the days that she doesn't go see her dad, so push back her eating schedule, and it's kind of become a little bit oddball at the moment. So, but she's like, I had this stuff thawed too long, I gotta get it cooked either way. So she cooked it up, so I went ahead and ate that. Told my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and eat, that way I have food in my belly and not, whatever. But if you want, on our way, we'll happily stop at Culver's or Popeyes or where the hell you want to stop at on the way over there to get some food in your belly, and then we'll be fine. We can just eat on the way. It's like an hour drive. So she's like, okay. So she got home and she decided she also wanted to eat the pork chops and potatoes and carrots. So I went ahead and made her up a bowl. But as I took the pork chop out, I chopped it all up, so it was like bite size already. And then before we left, we chucked it in the microwave, put just a tad bit more heat onto it, knowing by the time she heads out, gets in the car, and we take off, it's gonna cool down a little bit. So went ahead and got that taken care of, and all was good there. And then we got my cooler with my soda to drive home with, and soda to drive over there with. So I was like, cool, no big deal. So we jump in the car and we head over, and basically just hanging out. We get to the show, and we'd already been emailed the tickets, so we were good there. So we didn't have to, because I thought originally we were gonna have to like try and meet up people to hand us paper tickets, but we were able to get there. The lady I got the tickets from, that put it out that she had extra tickets, she was already inside, so we got to chat with people and stuff as we went and found our seats, and ended up getting a couple drinks. Yeah, some drink there. I asked Karen, she wants a drink. She goes, no, I'm good. I'm like, how you gonna do? Like, I'm gonna want something here to drink, and this is gonna get from like 6 o'clock until 9 o'clock, so it's a bit of a chunk, and it is what it is. But unfortunately, they did not have enough bartenders at this place at all, and they don't realize that the fans of this show tend to destroy every bar they've ever been to for drinks. That every time we say we're telling like a BDM takeover type thing, a Tommy takeover, they tell them bring in all the stuff that you can get, and they name off whatever the new hot drink is at the moment, and whatever the sponsors are pushing, whatever and stuff, whatever they got. And this is like a Surfside like iced tea vodka thing, whatever, and had samples outside. They're going samples, and shit slammed them before the first show started. They're sold out, but we got a couple, so we was able to drink those. They worked out and they were fine. And then the show was going, actually for the show, bumped into people and stuff, seeing people I don't see except the other Tom and Danny events, basically. So catching up with a bunch of people and all that fun stuff. And then I saw Vince Taylor, which is a buddy of mine from, I don't know, 8 years ago or some crap, 9 years ago I first met him. Met him through Periscope, of all damn things. And then when I drove down here for the first time, ended up figuring out where he worked through. I did a little bit of snooping and figured out where his day job was. He was still doing comedy shit, but I found his day job and got the office hours and the office address and stuff. And I rolled up in there and scared the living hell out of him, because I asked the secretary, I'm like, hey, is he on the phone? He goes, nope, he's free. And then by the time I walked in and started like yelling and hollering and freaking him out, he'd taken the phone call. I was like, oh shit, I feel bad now. But we had a great time. So he saw me there and he's like, oh my God, he's doing stuff. And we caught up again. We see each other seldom anymore, for the best part, but we got talking stuff. Well, he's the one that hated my dog a lot, because first time we were hanging out way back when, I used to have a lot more videos on here with Bruce, and we had a couple pretty big viral videos that went out that were a lot about Bruce's life. And we were heading back to spring break. We were heading back from one of his comedy shows over towards the beach, and I heard of college kids were coming up, and he's like, I think I know, I think I recognize him, blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go sign some autographs, because that time he had already been on like BET and stuff. He'd been on some cruise. He was kind of a little bit of a big fucking deal. But the girl goes, oh my God, it's Bruce. And she recognized my dog more than me, or more than Vince. And from that day, every time I would see Vince, he'd be like, that fucking dog dead yet? And this time he didn't, because I assume he probably thought, well, the dog's been dead for a long time. This first time it seems the dog's dead. So as we were chatting a little bit, I was like, oh, hey, I got something that really cheer you up. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, man, that dog you hate so much is dead. He's like, what? I didn't hate him that way. I'm like, no, I know. It was a good humor, just the dog was more famous than you, and you were mad about it. So finally, you're more famous than my dog again. So he had a good little chuckle at that. So, but yeah, And then he went up there, the show started, and everybody sat down, everybody's doing their thing. And then he gave me a shout out from the stage, which I thought was kind of funny. So he kind of hollered out, and folks were like, what the fuck? Like, how do you know Vince? Like, because Vince and I are not the normal, like, we're not, like, we would not be homies. And most people's lives, when you look at this, they would not think of us as like, oh yeah, those two make complete sense. I bet they went to, you know, grad school together. We're really opposite people, but we just bonded up and hit it off from like jump, like early on. And I miss Vince, but I don't ever get over his way, and he don't ever get over my way, so we hardly ever see each other. So, but yeah, we had a good little catch up there, which was nice. And then watched shows. It was Vince Taylor, Preacher Larson, which is basically America's Got Talent Preacher Larson, like big fucking deal Preacher Larson, out of Orlando is where he's from. He was there. There was Ross Pageant, which is the dude who we just saw at Fringe this week, which was awesome. Caught up with him also for the show, chatted with him a little bit, then talked to him after the comedy thing and stuff, hung out a bit. And then Tom and Ann did their show, intermission, bars were shit slammed, and of course out of anything we wanted, I'm like, I'm not drinking beer. So I ended up getting my wife a rum and coke, ended up with a shot of tequila, because apparently that's what you do. And I was like, whatever. So we dumped a shot of tequila into the rum and coke, which pretty much, I drink half a shot of tequila. I'm not really a tequila drinker, but dumped it into the rum and coke. And a reminder of the Virgin cruise ship, because there's a Moscow drink that we drink called a cricket, instead of a reminder of that. So made her wish to be on a cruise ship right now for that one, so it's pretty good. Then we got done the show, we headed outside, chatted with a bunch of friends again and stuff, hanging around there, and then ran to one of our friends that we'd met a little bit way back when, that's over here on the coast. This is only her second Tom and Danny event, so she's like super shy and scared in person. Online, she's like super friendly and chatty and all that stuff. And she had just called into the show this week to do a Weird Job Wednesday segment, and it was pretty interesting. So she's over there. So basically she asked if we kind of take her under our wing again. So we basically said, hell yeah. So as we went around, I got to introduce her to everybody, which is great, because most everybody there, like, she considers kind of a big deal, kind of famous. Like, she's like, oh my God, I've never met so-and-so, I've never met so-and-so, which is great and wonderful. I love that. But I met these people and stuff, and they're to people again. She still looks kind of like, oh my God, but they've been on the radio for this many years, or they're kind of famous, or they're kind of whatever. So I'm like, hell yeah. So I just grab her and I'm like, come on, let's go say hi, because she's not really good about interrupting. And I know the guys, a bunch of them, really well. They'll get talking on the story, and they love talking to people, so they'll get talking for a while, and then you get kind of tied up, and then they don't move on to the next. So I got kind of a little technique, guys, kind of sneak in, be like, hey, I want to introduce you to this person who hasn't been able to say hi yet, kind of thing. And then the other person's like, yeah, we've been standing here talking to him long enough, we're gonna move on. So got doing that and stuff, whatnot, got a bunch of pictures with people and stuff, introduced to all kinds of people. And she's like, oh my God, does that? It was so funny, because she was like Tuttle is one of the guys there who lives right up the road from me. And I know Tuttle and a lot, like he's around and stuff. So, but she was super excited to meet Tuttle. She got to meet everybody, and she had a great time, and that was a big deal. So ended up at the music box afterwards, and of course loud as shit. It's just so damn loud. But Mom had let the dog back out one last time before she went to bed, put the dog in the crate. That's where the owner wants him to sleep at night, is in the crate. So that's what we do. And then Mom headed off to bed, and we got home like 1:30 in the morning, super damn late. Like, we rarely stay out that late. We were having a phenomenal time. Everybody's having fun. Ended up back in there, and every, I don't know, 3 or 4 songs in there, they would give out free shots to Tom and Dan listeners again. And I don't know what they were giving out shots with, but that shit was tasty. And I was like, oh, whatever, it's good. So, but we were having fun. Ended up talking to a few guys that I don't talk to that often at the events, and we got along good, and everything was just peachy and wonderful. Drove home, and it was one of those things where I was like, you can drive. I'm like, 100%, get us home safe, guarantee it. But I will not pass a .08 checkpoint. So, but I don't look at .08 as a drunk driving deterrent. I look at that as a income source for the police department. So, but yeah, got home, no issue. Driving manual transmission and shit, like nothing at all. I actually swerved like across the lines and hit the little cones, like the little dumpy things and shit, way less if I've had a couple drinks than I ever do normally. So I'm sober, I'm like, fuck gives a shit. I space off a little bit, kind of just drives. I've been driving for years. But when I know I have a chance to possibly pay giant fines and or spend a night in jail or longer and lose my license, I tend to straighten up shit and flat right, because I don't want to give them any ounce of excuse of why they pulled me over. I'm looking for anything to beat this if it was to happen. So, but the one nice thing is I grabbed my soda out of the trunk, grabbed my Yeti frozen soda, and headed home, lit up my cigar to give myself something to distract myself with, and I expected my wife to fall asleep right away. And she didn't. She actually stayed up and talked to me the whole way home. Nice. So yeah, drove back in, got home, 0 issues at all. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. And then from there, I headed back outside to play with Eddie and finished my cigar because it was only an hour drive. So I didn't have time to get that cigar finished on the way home. So went outside, finished cigar, and then made myself another drink with like 3 shots of peach schnapps and some lemonade. That's a pretty damn tasty drink, actually. It's like 50-50. So yeah, that was good. Knocked it out, and then ate myself beef jerky. So I was feeling like I wanted some salt. So I had some beef jerky, and then yeah, wrapped it up for the evening, headed back in, got Eddie back to bed, and everything was good to go. So yep, that's all we got for right now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe, wonderful day. Thanks for watching.